a tremendous amount of free time. You ever wonder why there's so much technology, so much education, advancement, the access to information, the ability to basically do whatever you want to do with your particular life, but still to this day, and actually even climbing, there's more mental health, more depression, more addiction to drug, alcohol, and just ugliness that has ever been? Well, part of that, I believe, actually is in the idea that we are so luxurious in our sort of way of life. If you go back even 50, 60 years, you don't have to go back that far, but even go back further than that, when people woke up in the morning, they woke up, they had breakfast, drank a glass of orange juice, and went to work. And oftentimes they put in 8, 10 hours, sometimes working a double, sometimes working another job. They came home, they said hi to the kids, maybe they helped the kids with some homework, they all sat around the table together and ate and interacted with one another. And then by that time it was bath time and maybe a little bit of light reading, maybe you gravitated into a book or a hobby or watched a game on TV or something, and then you went to sleep. And then on the weekends, it was filled with, doing something with the family. Maybe you were going to go camping. And Sundays was about going to service, and after service, there was lunch. And the point is that we were occupied with doing things that we needed to do to sustain our life, to make sure that there was food on the table. There wasn't these times where you could just go and go online and create a website and sell a couple of widgets online. Everything's automated, work 4 hours a day and make enough money, $50,000, $60,000 a year to just, with only working a couple hours. There wasn't this luxury of, as much as you want to say the minimum wage, high minimum wage, like, our team can, go in, work a couple hours, shaking fries, flipping a few burgers, and make enough to buy a cell phone, not work 40 hours a week, all those types of things. Granted that, family and kids and some of those things now that cost a lot of money, but the point is individuals today have a tremendous amount of free time. We don't spend the time around the dinner table. This isn't a, focus on the family moment. This is just when you're interacting with other people and you don't have your cell phone next to you and it's set aside, you begin a bond and a relationship with the people that are around you. And those relationships are generally increase your mental state instead of decreasing your mental state or putting you into a depression. It is the ability for us to basically not have to worry about, for the most part, where our next food comes from. We don't have to worry about dying from a major disease. We don't have to worry about building a house or building some renovations to a house or worrying about where we're going to live or anything like that. We have great teachers in our schools that educate our kids, that we don't necessarily have to spend a tremendous amount of time. And of course, there's less and less people going to church and spending the weekends in services and around those family events. What that means is that we all are spending a tremendous amount of time looking at our cell phones, watching videos like this. And if you're not sitting at the table and you're watching a video like this, and after this video you get someone that's very hot fake bot or whatever that's dancing in a video, you're going to feel bad about yourselves because you don't look like that. And then the next video might be that some guy's making $1 gazillion, and then the next video might be that a bunch of people died in some city due to an earthquake, and it's just either grotesquely negative, the things that we're watching and consuming and listening to and hearing, or it's grotesquely, the top pinnacle, top 1%, guy, girl on his yacht, private planes, luxury, blah, 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 blah. And so how can you not start to feel toxic when everything you watch, read, consume is basically designed to make you fearful, which then hopefully gets you to click and do whatever the video wants you to do, or gets you to be envious, which gets you to want to click and do whatever the person that's probably showing these images is trying to sell you, a course, an affiliate program, I don't know, whatever it is. And so what happens is, because we're no longer focused on that 9 to 5 and working throughout the day as intently as we were, because a lot of us don't have that second job that I know both of my parents necessarily had, we have time to then consume crap, and that crap is what's degrading our mind. If we're not coming together as family and talking about our day because we much rather be inside of the screen, we're getting information instead of the positive and the influences around us and building bonds and relationships and making our brains healthy. We are becoming toxic by consuming more negative, grotesque information. I would say that we are connected more to the profiles and the people and the social media and the influence that are in our phones, feeling a more connection to them than probably to our husbands and our wives and our friends and even our family members that are around us. Is it a positive? Is it a negative? I don't know. The access to information has allowed people to be more successful. It has allowed them to not have to do these things like working 2 jobs and be fearful of where food's going to come, stuff like that. But it's also making people who aren't able to handle it going down a pathway that is very scary and is very toxic. I'd love to know your guys' comments. I'm not quite sure. I know for me, I try to limit the as much as I possibly can any kind of social media. I don't do Twitter, I don't do Facebook, I don't do Instagram. I do a little bit of TikTok, some comedians and some laughter stuff that I specifically try to follow. Anything that's a negative, this guy's trying to sell stuff, I usually just block them out, and so I don't have to actually watch them again. But you try to limit that. And when I go to dinner with my wife, I set the cell phone down. When I'm around with my family, the phone's in my back pocket, and I'm living in the moment and in that interaction to develop those relationships to keep the mind right. I highly encourage you to do so. If you want to be successful, especially in business, it is all about building connections with people that are right in front of you. And then obviously those connections turn into meaningful relationships as far as contracts or doing business together, promotions or whatever. If you are constantly at dinners around people and you're sucked into your phone, I don't even care what it is. It's going to disconnect the person. If you are sitting in front of somebody and you pick up your cell phone to look at someone text, even if you don't respond, just the simple fact that you broke connection with that person to check and to see if that other person was more important to further interrupt that conversation breaks that particular bond. So you can't do it, you can't have it. The only place for your digital device to be when you're interacting with someone else is out of sight, out of mind. Not on top of the table, not on top of the table flipped over, because that indicates you're still waiting for something. Not anywhere else, in sight, anywhere. Back pocket, in the purse, left in your car if it's too hard for you to turn it off or to not pay attention to it, but away from you. If you do that, you'll build better relationships with the people that are around you. It'll fix this and you'll be more successful for it because of those relationships.